Now we're going to look at compound interest, and compound interest is going to be different from simple interest because we're going to be compounding it more than once a year. We're going to be doing it maybe monthly, so it would happen 12 times a year, or maybe we'll be doing it daily, which is 365 times a year. So let's look at the formula first. And the formula for this is F equals P times 1 plus R divided by N, all to the power of N times T. Let's look at what these letters represent. F is our future value. How much money will we have at the end of the time period? P is our present value. What is the initial amount of money being invested? R is the interest rate, and we're going to change that interest percentage into the decimal form. N is the number of times it's being compounded in 1 year. So if it's monthly, we'll put in 12. If it's daily, we'll put in 365, etc. T is the number of years it's going to stay in the account. And we're going to go ahead and test this out using the same word problem that we used for simple interest, except we're going to add in that it's being compounded monthly. So when we go ahead and we start to look at where each of our numbers is coming from, P is equal to 375 because that's the initial amount of money that we're putting into the account. R, which is the percentage rate, will change over to a decimal. That's what we're going to use for R. N is going to be equal to 12 in this case because we are compounding the interest monthly. And T is going to be equal to 5 because we're leaving that amount of money there for 5 years. So let's fill in our equation with each of our numbers. And you'll see that I changed the decimal over to 0.0365 from our 3.65% interest. And each place that I saw N, I filled in with 12. Now the first step is going to be to multiply together that's the superscript up there so that we can see what we'll be raising that number to a power of. Next, we'll be dividing and adding the 1. So we'll be calculating this whole inside. You want to make sure to do the division first and then add the 1 onto it. If we do that, we end up with this number. This is also to the power of 60, so this calculation is already raised to the power of 60. We're going to multiply that number by the 375 and we'll get this long $449, the long stream of decimals after it. And because it is money, again, we're going to round it to just 2 decimal places. And we end up with $449.96. Now, if you remember from the previous problem where it was just simple interest and it was only calculated once a year, we ended up with a total of $443.44. So it's not a huge difference because we're only leaving it there for 5 years, so it's not being compounded that much more often. But you do gain a little bit of extra money by putting the interest in each month instead of once a year.